You're scrolling at midnight, and there he is. Maybe 21, maybe younger than you. You don't even know him personally, but he just posted a win, a launch, a milestone, something you've been about to start for months. And instead of closing the app, you screenshot it, send it to a friend. Bro, look at this guy. You know why you do that? Because talking about someone else's progress feels safer than facing your own. And your brain has turned that into a daily habit, one you don't even notice anymore. Here's what nobody says out loud about bad habits. They don't feel like bad habits. They feel normal, natural, deserved even. The late night scroll feels like rest. The overthinking feels like preparation. Sending that screenshot to a friend feels like bonding. But underneath all of it, your brain is running the same loop on repeat. And that loop is the reason you feel stuck. Research shows nearly 45% of what you do every day is automatic, not decided, just repeated. Your brain runs on autopilot for almost half your waking life. Half your life on autopilot. That means half of who you're becoming right now isn't a choice, it's a default. And if your defaults are broken, your direction is broken too. But here's what makes this different from every other video on bad habits. Scientists in 2026 discovered a brain chemical that's the actual key to changing behavior. And it works in a way that's the complete opposite of what you've been told. We'll get there. But first, let's talk about your specific habits, the ones keeping you stuck right now. Section 1, the comparison loop, and why you share it with others. You open YouTube or Instagram, not to learn something, not even to relax, to check. Where am I compared to everyone else? And then you find him. Some guy, maybe your age, maybe younger, doing the exact thing you've been planning. More followers, more progress, more momentum. And the first thing you do, you send it to someone. Here's what's actually happening in your brain in that moment. Psychologists call this social comparison, and research confirms it activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. Your brain genuinely hurts when it perceives someone else as ahead of you. So what does it do? It seeks relief, immediately. Sharing that person's success with a friend is your brain's way of neutralizing the pain. If someone else is talking about it too, the threat feels smaller. It becomes a group conversation instead of a personal failure. But here's the trap nobody explains. The moment you externalize that feeling, send the screenshot, make it a conversation, you release just enough discomfort to go back to scrolling. The pain that was supposed to push you into action gets discharged into a chat window instead. Your brain learned, comparison hurts, share it, feel better, keep scrolling. That loop runs automatically now, and every time it runs, nothing changes. Section 2, overthinking, the habit your brain calls being smart. Here's the second habit. This one is disguised as productivity. You think about the goal, a lot. You plan it, research it, imagine how it'll look when it's done. Tell yourself you're being strategic, but the notebook stays empty, the file stays blank, the idea stays an idea. This is called the knowing-doing gap, the space between understanding what to do and actually doing it. And the reason this gap exists isn't laziness, it's dopamine. Your brain releases a small reward just from thinking about doing something. Planning feels almost as good as executing, without the risk of failure. So your brain learns. Thinking is safe, doing is dangerous. Stay in thinking. And here's the research that changes everything. Scientists at the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology published a study this year in Nature Communications. They discovered a brain chemical called acetylcholine, and it's the actual trigger for behavioral change. But it only activates after real disappointment. After you try something and it doesn't work. After imperfect action, not perfect planning. Your brain physically cannot rewire itself through thinking alone. It needs action. Messy, uncomfortable, incomplete action. Because that's the only thing that produces the neurological signal your brain needs to grow. Every hour you spend planning instead of doing isn't preparation. It's postponing the only thing that could actually change you. Section 3, the evening default, the hours that were supposed to be yours. The third habit is the quietest and the most expensive. It doesn't feel like a bad habit. It feels like you've earned it. Work ends, or class ends, or the day just exhausts you, and you switch to default mode. Phone, something to eat, something to watch. And somewhere around 11 p.m., you realize 3 hours disappeared. Here's why this matters more than you think. Research shows habits are deeply context dependent. The same time, same place, same emotional state triggers the same automatic behavior every single time. So if your brain has been trained to expect screens and comfort after 8 p.m., it will demand exactly that, without asking you, without giving you a choice. You're not choosing that habit anymore, it chose you. But the real cost isn't just the time. Think about what that evening window actually is. Morning is controlled by routine. Daytime is controlled by obligations and other people. That evening block, that's the only window in your entire day that genuinely belongs to you. The only time you could build something, learn something, move towards something. And the default habit is spending it watching someone else live their life. Now here's where this gets different from everything you've heard before. Every self-help video gives you the same advice. Identify the habit, replace it, stay consistent, use discipline. And most people fail anyway. Not because the advice is wrong, because it skips the one step the brain actually needs. That 2026 Nature Communication study found something remarkable. Mice stuck in automatic behavior couldn't change until they experienced unexpected disappointment. When the expected reward didn't show up, the brain released a surge of acetylcholine. That's the chemical that breaks the old pattern and makes new choices possible. Not motivation, not willpower, disappointment. Think about what that means for you. That comparison scroll, you don't just need to know it's wasting time. You need to feel, completely and honestly, what it's actually costing you. Not just tonight, your self-belief, your direction, your next year. Let that land. That overthinking, you don't need another plan. You need to feel the weight of the gap between where you are and where you could be right now. And instead of sending that energy into a chat window, let it push you somewhere. This is what breaks the habit. Not resistance, not willpower. Conscious awareness of the real cost. Because the moment you feel it clearly, acetylcholine activates. Your brain becomes flexible, and the habit that felt automatic suddenly feels like a choice again. That's the moment change becomes possible. So here's what changes tonight. 3 things. Simple, specific. 1. Name the real cost out loud. Not the habit, the cost. The comparison scroll isn't just wasting time. It's replacing your own story with someone else's. Write that down. Say it out loud. Your brain needs to feel it, not just know it. 2. Replace the loop, not just the behavior. Your brain needs a similar reward from a new action. If comparison scrolling gives you stimulation, replace it with 5 minutes of writing about your own progress. Any progress. Your brain still gets its hit, but now it's building your identity, not shrinking it. 3. Remove the cue tonight. Put your phone in another room before 10 p.m. This isn't about willpower. Research from the Journal of Experimental Psychology confirms that even the silent presence of your phone reduces available cognitive capacity. You don't fight the habit, you remove the trigger. The habit weakens on its own. You're not stuck because you're lazy. You're not stuck because you lack discipline. You're stuck because your daily defaults were built quietly, repeated automatically, and never questioned. And you've been living inside them like they're permanent. They're not. The habits you repeat today are writing the story of who you'll be 6 months from now. The question isn't whether you can break them. You can. The question is whether you'll feel the cost clearly enough tonight to start. If you want to see how your morning routine directly controls which habits win and which ones lose, my last video covers exactly that. The neurological sequence that protects your focus from the moment you wake up, linked right here. And if this is the kind of content you're looking for, no fluff, real science, real application, subscribe. 1 video a week. That's the commitment. Your defaults aren't permanent. Go prove it.